Hi class, this is Chastity and I will be doing my presentation on Johnston chapter 6, constructing and interpreting graphic displays of behavioral data. And first I will just be talking about how this chapter is basically about data collection, which is how behavior analysts record their findings, and by this I mean this is how they record behavior and how they measure it. Okay, and the way that behavior analysts record data are through graphs. It gives us, them, a visual depiction of data measurements being compared. So, for example, the data from this graph, this right here, was extracted from this list of data right here, which was, see if you guys can see that, condition A and condition B. And so basically you see it translated from this list of numbers by being plotted on a data graph. Well, plotted on a graph. Okay? So in these graphs they depict the three fundamental properties of behavior change over time, which are, let me see, level, trend, and variability. I'm just making sure that I'm keeping up with the time here, because I don't want to go over. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay. I have to make sure that the timer is in front of me. Sorry. Okay. So, moving on to page 127. Now, this section, okay, says graphs used by applied behavior analysis. And it just shows you the different types of graphs that behavior analysts use, to record their data on. First, starting with line graphs. Okay, so line graphs are graphs which are most frequently used. They're the most frequently used graphs out of, your bar graphs, scatter plots. So yeah, line graphs are your most frequently or most common used. And your main parts are your horizontal axis, which is also your x-axis, or your y-axis, which this better depicts the y-axis. So your x-axis sessions and your y-axis, or your vertical axis, which is left. And then you have your various other different parts of the graph, which are your condition line changes, your condition change lines, your condition labels, your data points, your data path, your figure caption, and basically your condition change lines, which is right here. Your condition change lines basically shows the point in time where changes in the independent variable happen. So it looks like this starts at about 6.2 and and approximately ends at, if I'm not mistaken, 17.9, because in the middle it will be 17, but that's just a guess. So yeah, I was really, trying to give you an idea of what condition change lines are and what they measure. Okay, moving along. Okay, and here's a depiction of a line graph. And this line graph is good for measuring multiple paths. Basically, they show different conditions but the same behavior. So see, as you have it here, this graph is measuring self-injurious behaviors. And we see that this is based on the influence of therapist attention on self-injury during a tangible. So here you have it. The squares represent attention. The shaded in triangles represents tangible. The non-shaded in triangles represent demand. And finally, the circle, it represents play. And then it goes on to explain your different type of graph, which is a bar graph or a histogram. And basically here, this shows your bar graph and the simultaneous use of a data pad. So here you see your shaded in bars, and then you also have your data pad. And this looks like it measures, okay, on the y-axis here it says accident and self-initiations frequency, and then for your x-axis it measures the school days. Okay, and here it says the combination of data path and bars shows the 3 response classes. Okay, and now we have cumulative records. If you guys remember, we first went over this in Module 1. This is where we first talked about it. And in Module 1, we defined a cumulative record as an automated data collector that uses a pin on a continuous loop. And basically, this machine was invented by B.F. Skinner in the 1930s, and it shows a picture of a cumulative recorder somewhere. Okay, this is a diagram of a cumulative recorder, which I said that it uses a pin on a continuous loop to collect data automatically. And if you want to see an actual picture of it, here it is, an actual cumulative recorder invented by B.F. Skinner. And as you can see, this is the pin here that automatically records on its continuous loop. Okay. And moving along, your other type of graph is your scatter plot, which behavior analysts also use. So basically we covered scatter plots, we covered line graphs, and we covered bar graphs. And last but not least, wrapping it up, and I guess I will just end it right here so that I won't run out of time. But thank you for listening to my presentation.